Hi, Cancer. I decided to do this reading for you, my friends. I have had a few people asking me for this reading, so here I am. I normally read for Virgos. I've decided that there are so many different people doing this type of readings that I was just going to read for my sign. But occasionally I have people that ask me to do a reading for them for, other signs, and I do them. So here I am. So I also want to say thank you for all the people that have stopped in my channel and subscribed, as well as the new ones. So if this is your first time, welcome, and I hope you get to enjoy my reading. Remember, these are very general readings, but the messages that I do offer can help anyone. So here we go, Cancer. Alright, my friends, I've tried to do this video twice and my throat started to itch. And then as I looked at the cards, because I normally like to, meditate a little bit before I begin, and here I saw communication upside down. And right away I understood why I felt that itching in my throat chakra. So, alright, Cancer, normally I like to say that this is a cycle, okay? So our lives are composed of different cycles, and within those cycles there are more cycles. And what I mean by that is that you always have the opportunity to change things around based on your attitude in the present moment. So if this is something that you want to, if whatever the cards are telling me, and this is what you want to create, perfect. Continue to do what you're doing. But if it's not, the opportunity that you have here is to change your approach, okay? So during this cycle, okay, I see you, the universe has you right in your element. So the card that is coming out to represent you, or the planet, it's the moon. And this is all about emotions. So I would say that, you're very sensitive people, very emotional people, very empathic. You guys have an ability to read people emotionally. And, you have that good heart that you can be a great person to be around when we're going through difficult times. You can help other people. You know how they feel. You understand their suffering. Another quality of the Cancers is that your priority is home, is family, is partnership. And you're the type of person that you're willing to give up who you are to make sure that the people that you love are happy. And it is in those situations where you tend to withhold and not express what you really feel. That being said, one of the things that Spirit wants you to do and wants you to understand that in this cycle is that needs to change. Because of your willingness to be so flexible and so elastic with the people that you love, to the point that you are willing to stop being you so that they can be happy, you lose yourself and you lose your I amness. And over time, that creates so many different imbalances. And I know that you do it because you want to avoid conflict. You don't want arguments, you just don't like them. But what happens is that over time, you create a monster. Because ultimately, the person doesn't change, or doesn't become more aware of your needs, or doesn't value you. Instead, they become more rightful. They feel like they're that they're always right and they know more than anybody else. And they don't allow you to express yourself in the way that you're meant to. So one of the things that Spirit is asking during this time is to step back And once and for all, pay attention to that behavior, because it's impossible to attract people that are different unless you don't change first. Now, there are different cancers that I'm picking up here, okay? So there are different situations. And there's some cancers here that you've been in a relationship where it's finally changing and you're breaking away. But there is also some cancers here that you met someone recently. And this is someone that you had a really awesome connection. But something happened between the two of you that it changed. And now it's making you to retreat and to withhold your communication. And as a result, you are sort of reminiscing or remembering the good times. So in a way, it's like you're looking to the past instead of forward. And I can see that some of you cancers, you have different opportunities, you know different people that are interested in you, and you might have thought that when you met this person that it wasn't really that important. It was just, sort of maybe a connection where two people came together and you didn't really have any expectations. Or maybe you didn't take it very seriously, or maybe you promised or said things that later you changed and acted differently. And now it's making this person be this way. I mean, look at those teeth. It's making this person overreact. It's making this person, to walk away and avoid any future contact. It's making this person feel overprotective and just, respond to a degree, I would say somewhat aggressive, making them be aggressive, or is showing an aspect of themselves that you really didn't expect, you didn't see it coming. And you're asking yourself, what the fuck? What's going on here? Because look at you, you are in this Four of Pentacles. It's like you're holding back and you're staying in your little paradise, making sure that you're not being attacked by this person, right? And remember, you don't like conflict. You like to avoid it. So maybe when it's the right time to speak your mind to prevent this, situation to escalate, you don't. And that's why it escalates. So now it does create a conflict. So the one thing that you don't want to create, it ends up happening because you didn't speak your truth, or you didn't, put the cards on the table and say, what's going on? So as you can see, there is a situation here where some of you have felt the need to move on and, search somewhere else. But it's funny that although you may be able to rise above the situation, you're still thinking of this person. Or you're thinking about this person. You like this person, don't you? There is something very delicious that you find about them, and probably was the times that you spent together, and when things were good, they were really good. The people that have walked away from a dead-end situation, I believe that you're doing the same thing. You're reminiscing. You're thinking about the past. You're thinking about the good times. And somehow in all of that, sometimes you still have that hope that things may work out. That what if? I mean, it's all in the emotional arena, right? So in an emotional world, you can dream and, idealize. Once you come back to reality, that's a whole different ball game, right? But here you come with the cheetah. And the cheetah is one of those animals that can adapt pretty well in situations that are not very healthy. I mean, these are animals that are very intense, but yet very flexible. They have the ability to see beyond, just like you do. And they know how to, prevent situations that are building up, that are going to create conflict. And it doesn't mean that you are not capable of communicating. I think you can, but you have a way of doing that you use a lot of diplomacy. Sometimes you tend to sugarcoat things just to avoid conflict. Another quality about the Shita is that these are very, solitary people. And that is because they tend to be quite selective about who they let in. But once they do, you have a friend for life. And this is what happens with your relationships, that once you settle with someone, you want to have them for life. And it makes it really difficult for you to let them go and to change, even though when the environment is not healthy. So as you can see here, you have communication and creativity upside down. And no wonder I was having all that itching in my throat. So Spirit wants you to, this time around, to start communicating and stop feeling afraid, because one of the things here, it's saying it in different cards. It's like you may feel right now that you're in the middle of the storm and the sky is black. But just remember that after every storm, there is a dawn. The sunlight will come again, and so will yours. And that it's important that right now you start finding purpose. What is your purpose, Cancer? When the Shita is out of balance, this is someone who can become very competitive and also impatient. And you can do that too, Cancer. So don't let the difficulties get you there, because there is a lesson to be learned, but also understood. And have you understood it? The person that comes out here that you're dealing with, they come as the Panther. And these are beings that are not just your average person. These are people that are very knowledgeable, very, they have a certain level of authority. And I would say that they're quite in contact with reality. And in the center of the reading, they have the 10 of Wands, which tells me that, they're in this cycle of starting over. But in their mind, they have the Magician. So it also tells me that you are dealing with someone who's finally have learned how to work with the elements. So this is not just anyone. So for those of you who've met someone recently, I would say that this person decided to let go of their relationship. And they did it in a way that you didn't expect it. Here with the 7 of Swords, it's like, they just did it. They just kind of left and left you hanging, or I don't know what it was, but it was definitely not what you expected. And in some ways, they're showing you something when it's not. So maybe they are making you feel that, they don't care, but they do. Because here with the 9 of Swords, I can tell they do. But the reason why they did it is because they didn't feel that whatever they were offering, you were offering the same. So either, like I said, either you promise and talk too much without knowing, and then they saw that you didn't come through in actions, or you said something that hurt them and, just basically stop the connection. Something happened, definitely, to the point that it's making them, respond this way. It's like, really? And I'm going to say that this is the kind of people that if they're responding that way, it's because they're choosing to. It's like you overstep your boundaries and they feel a need to protect themselves. These are people that have gone through a lot, that they have a lot of lessons. I mean, you're not talking just to anyone here. And the Magician, yep. So something happened that now you're kind of thinking about it. And one thing important to know about the panther. Panthers are considered to be the guardian of the occult. And when these people come to your life, it's because they're there to help you resolve old issues. Issues that you may be bringing from, the past and you haven't been able to overcome. That's why I'm saying this cycle, it's all about you, Cancer, and what are you going to do? How are you going to break some of these repetitive, cycles that you've been creating just because you don't like change? Look at the cheetah. Look at all those circles, right? So it's like, you're moving in circular motion, repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. And you get to a point where, you're kind of over it. And I'm going to say that in situations like this, when you're stuck and the energy is stagnant, your consciousness or your spirit leaves you. It does. Because there's no growth. And this is when a lot of times people get depressed. Have you seen those people where they get really depressed and they cannot get up from bed? And they feel like their life is ending? That's because the spirit leaves. So, of course, I don't see, things that bad here, but I do see you, going to the past, and spirit is saying, hey, Cancer, stop looking at the past. And why don't you think about the future? What would you like to create? Because in the way you feel right now and in the way you focus is going to be the pavement of the things you're going to attract. And this person that you're thinking about, it's actually a good person. It's someone that has the qualities for a solid and stable relationship. But right now, it's not the right time to reconnect. You need to do what you need to do in order to change. Because you see air here, the element of air is talking about change. And not until you change, you won't be able to mend the situation. You gotta gain your voice. I remember, like 4 years ago, I don't know why I feel like sharing this, but I will. About 5 years ago, I went to Sedona and I met one of the elders of the Lakota tribe. And he took me on a walkabout in some of the sacred mountains in Sedona. And I remember at one point we climbed a mountain and he told me the energy of the grandmothers are here. And they're talking about you being able to regain your voice. So they want you to sing a song. And you can imagine, like, I don't know how to sing, anything unless I'm in the shower in my house. Imagine, little do I know how to sing a Native American song. Of course, I don't think they were asking me that, but they wanted me to just sing. And I would say that was the moment that I was being initiated in this path where, it took me a while to get here and make this video. I was, resistance to do it. I was really resistant to do it. But little by little, I've been working at changing that. And here I am. And it's interesting how I see the channel grow. So I'm saying this because it is your turn. It is your turn to find, that song that is going to represent you, Cancer. And it's about being able to say your truth when the moment is right. It is time for you to be appreciated by the people that are around you. And it's not that people don't. It's just that in relationships, it's time to create a different kind. So whatever it is that, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's not exactly how I'm describing it, but here there's a change that needs to take place before you're able to mend this situation. And there, of course, some of you that won't be able to, because you came to that finish line that no matter how much you tried with your relationship, it's not going to work. So if you're in that situation, this does not apply to you. I'm not talking to you, okay? And the message that you can receive is it's time to move forward and stop looking at the past. Because I will tell you, that's loud and clear. They're also talking about physical activity. Become more active. Be more present. Don't think about too much about what you need to do and just do it. Sometimes I struggle with that. I want to exercise, but I think about exercising, so I don't. So here we're talking about, just do it. Pay attention about the things that you commit to. Sometimes you may say yes to a lot of people when you really don't have the time or the energy to do it. So don't overcommit yourself just to make people happy. Take one day at a time and find a goal, find a purpose, and then follow through at building up. And just make a decision and follow that path. A lot of times what happens is you make the decision and then you start questioning whether you made the right decision or no. And you can drive yourself crazy that way and drive everybody else crazy. So the Spirit's saying, make the decision, go for it, and there's no right or wrong. There is no better path. It's just a path, and out of all the options, just choose the one that feels the best. And make sure that you explore till the end, and then you learn, and then you have another option. There's no right or wrong, really, Cancer. But, thinking about the past is definitely not going to help in this time of transformation. The air is the energy that is going to purify all of the situation, as I said before. And for some of you, it could create an opportunity with this person in the future. And for some of you, it's done. So you need to figure out who that is. You guys know who, what's going to be. And maybe that's not what you want to hear right now, and I'm sorry. But this is what's coming out. There's no mistake why this panther is, here. There is no coincidence. This is meant to be. So it is not time to hold on to an idea just because it's comfortable. It is time to become familiar with the unknown and explore all different possibilities. And you never know. Alright, my dearest Cancer, this is all I have for you. I hope you like the reading. And if you don't, well, I always feel like there's other people doing the same thing that I'm doing, and that's okay. But I just want to say thank you, and I love you guys. And maybe I will see you in the next. Maybe I'll do another reading just to see what happens with the energy. Thank you for watching.